said time and again on this channel that you can't protect the country 100% from attacks. But are this morning's events and the security response actually quite reassuring?
Yes, I suppose in a way it would have been reassuring. The prompt response, the fact that they're used to this sort of attack now, and they reacted very quickly to it. We don't know what the intentions of the man were. We don't, as we just heard, we don't even know who he is, where he's from, whether he's French or whether he's foreign, whether he's Muslim or not, although he did cry out, Allahu Akbar. But the fear would have been that if he got past that security checkpoint and gone down into the shopping centre, that he could have run amok with those machetes that he had, and we could have been facing an incident far worse than the one we are now. But of course, there are limits on what you can do. Since the Operation Sentinel was introduced back in January 2015, there have been an extra 10,000 French troops on the ground inside France, most of them concentrated in the area around and in Paris. Despite their presence, the incidents keep happening. There's nothing you can do to stop them happening. It's just a means of discouraging this sort of attack. Of course, you can't be everywhere at the same time, but we've seen other incidents happen, and it's always going to be a problem, I think, for the French state balancing the security gains that you get from it against the costs in terms of infringements on people's civil liberties, financial costs. It's somewhere in the region of €1 million a day to keep 10,000 troops on the streets. And the damage it does to your own military as well, because if you have 10,000 people concentrating on internal security, they can't be training in other places, they can't be going to operations in Africa and elsewhere.
So this unpopular state of emergency has at least proved that it is efficient in this type of situation.
It's encouraging, I think, reassuring, I think, for people that they're on the streets, they're visible. If you walk around Paris, you frequently see soldiers walking around, patrolling the city.
Now, there's yet to be an attack targeting tourists here in France. Belgium and Turkey did see their airports hit. How bad an impact could just this incident have on what is already a depressed tourism sector?
Well, there's bound to be considerable concern in Paris. We already know, and we just heard from that report we saw, that the tourism industry in general in France over the last 15 months or so has been badly hit. Just to take the Louvre's earnings are down 15% over the last 12 months or so. They will be very concerned that this incident has taken place in the shopping, not in the Louvre itself, but in the shopping centre adjacent to the Louvre. And there could be a knock-on effect. People will read about it, people will see it, and although it's just one man who didn't manage to penetrate past the security, it will make people nervous. And obviously there is a concern and a real risk that the tourist industry in Paris, which relies to a considerable extent on the income that comes from tourism, will be hit.
And there's not yet been a claim of responsibility, but is France still a prime target for this type of attack?
Everybody, all European countries are prime targets. I don't think it's particularly France. We've seen similar incidents in Germany. We've seen incidents in the United Kingdom, in Spain, and elsewhere. France is a target, no question about it, and it will continue to be so.
And just briefly, if you were looking to the political context of France, we're just months away from the presidential election. How might this type of attack play out politically?
Well, as you say, just 3 months away, and there's every possibility that politicians will attempt to use it. Attacks like this, security incidents like this, to gain political advantage. We've already seen Marine Le Pen from the French National Front tweeting about it today and talking about the threat to France from Islamic extremism. We can expect more of this sort of thing, and the hope would be that politicians will show restraint, but the temptation will always be there to exploit this sort of incident.